If you're here, you must have watched my previous video where I talk about this manga's first chapter. This is a sequel to that, where I've dived deep to talk about the relationship between parents and child in this manga. I think this is a fantastic story and people should definitely read it. For those who haven't watched my first video, here's a brief summary. Ever since Keisuke's wife left him 10 years ago, life had no meaning to him anymore. The only family he has left is his daughter. But it has been a long time since they did something that feels like an actual family. They're on a verge of breaking apart until someday a little girl's ring on their doorbell. That was their late wife mother came back to see them. And just like that, life seemed to move on again for them. But how could they deal with this sudden realization and what's come after this? There will be many more trials and tribulation waiting ahead for them to get their happy ending together. And with that in mind, it goes on to question the core relationship that ties all of this together. What kind of family should they aspire to be? Spoiler warning. This video will spoil the entire story of if my wife became an elementary school student up to chapter 48. I suggest to give it a read before watching this video since there are so many twists and turns in this manga and I don't want to ruin it for you. Trust me, reading it is worth it and I don't mind if you had to pause this video to do it, honestly. Chapter 1. Parents must take care of their child. Nijima Keisuke. He used to be this kind of upbeat, optimistic guy who loved his family more than anything. After getting married to the love of his life, they had a daughter, Mai. The way he raised her was quite clumsy in a lot of ways, but the core part of it never changed. He loves his daughter and is proud of her whenever she accomplishes something. Yet, everything changes after his wife died. She was the pillar of his life, so losing her means losing half of his life. Pain and grief turned him into a complete different person. He never smiled anymore, never interact or talk to anyone anymore, including his own daughter, who also had to gone through her own loss in some way. They talked to each other less and less. Isuke spent no effort into holding up the family. The atmosphere inside their home is suffocating. The family dinner, which used to be full of laughter and happiness, with warm and delicious meal, now is just in this sorry state. That's why his wife was furious when she first saw them. In her eyes, he has absolutely failed as a father, and she was right. Parents must take care of their child. That should be rule number one for anyone who has a child. Keisuke loved his wife so much. It was admirable how much he loved his wife. Yet, precisely because of that, it blinded him from seeing what was right in front of him. His child, who is also suffering in her own way with the loss of her mother. Needless to say, what Keisuke doing was absolutely wrong, and he needs a wake up call from that. After talking with his wife, he finally understand his mistake and began to work on being there for his child. At the end of the day, being a parent is hard, especially so if you realize that parents have struggled on their own too. Raising a kid becomes increasingly complicated when you're going through a hard time. Yet, parents must take care of their child. It lies on the responsibility of the adults to foster a healthy and peaceful environment for their child. Contrast to Keisuke, Take seems very comfortable in raising her kids. Within her, there was a confidence that as long as you love them and raise them the right way, your kids will turn out to be fine. Those warmth definitely show in the little times they had together. It was soothing to Mai whenever she was gently cared for by her mother. Those warmth persist even when she in the form of a child. Seeing them interact with each other, how Take can push Mai out of her comfort zone and become a better person. How she can give Mai advice on how to deal with her problems. How the first person Mai think of every time she in distress was her mother. It really say a lot about their relationship. In a way, Take really is a good mother. Well, what do you expect from someone who wanted to take care of her family even after she became a child? Chapter 2. Every child craves love from their parents. What I just talked to you about was from the parent side. So, what about the children's side? Well, it shouldn't come as a surprise to you that they also want their parents to love them too. You couldn't have seen it better in Mai. She was devastated, just as much as Keisuke. When her mother died, she then became secluded and reserved, having no friends and no one to talk to. She briefly had an active job after graduation, but because she can't interact with anyone, she quit it and found a job where she can work at home. Since then, she stay holed up inside her house and rarely go outside. It goes without saying that the loss of her mother has affected her a lot. So, when her mother returned and gave her a scolding, she finally finds the courage to move on and improve her life. She finds a new job, working with other people, finding friends, and perhaps meeting with the love of her life, all because of her mother's word. She loves her mother a lot. Sometimes it can be a little bit possessive and clingy. Sometimes it stems from the insecurities and fear that she couldn't do anything without her mother. But at the end of the day, even though she's already grown up, her childish behavior are the purest expression of the saying, every child craves love from their parents. Surprisingly enough, Takeo also had an episode exploring her relationship with her mother. It was the anniversary of her death. Naturally, visiting your own grave was pretty strange, but thanks to that, they met her sister and subsequently has a chance to go back to her home and meet her old family. Feeling guilty, Take was hesitated to go at first, but after encouragement from Keisuke, she agreed to at least meet them, though she won't reveal her identity to them. It was nice to see that her sister had managed without her, one way or another. From the way her sister talked, her father was fine. However, her mother didn't seem to go well. This certainly worried Take, since as her sister said it, she was a hardcore mama's girl, and things didn't go the way they expected, since they had to leave them so early. As Take reminiscing, a car arrived at their home. It was her mother coming back from the care center. As her mom was welcome home, the dread to meet her at this point was too much to bear. The guilt and regret filled her up as her mom gets closer and closer. Question filled up inside her head. Would her mother be the same when she left her 10 years ago? As Take painfully turned her head backward, she saw it. Age and dementia has changed her mother so much. She couldn't even walk normally anymore. It was too much to bear. There's no way she could reveal herself to her now. Take would rather go and play with her nephews than witness this painful reality. But then, in a twist sense of irony, she mistakenly sprayed water on her mom. In a state of panic, she tried to apologize to her mom, only for her mom to gently place her hand on her cheek. Feeling the wrinkle in her hand, feeling the pain her mom had to bear when she's gone, Take simply couldn't hold back her tears. She cried and cried and cried until she couldn't anymore. Still, this meeting was needed for both of them. As they went back, her mother let out a faint smile, as if she knew all along the little girl was her daughter who has come back to see her. It goes without saying that Take, even when she's already an adult, and after she already dead, still had a special place in her heart for her mom. Chapter 3, Marika's Mom Arc. Well, both of these themes couldn't be expressed better through Take's current mom, or should I say, Marika's mom, the original little girls before Take took place. For clarity, I'll call them Marika and Marika's mom from now on, as this will have implications to the story in the future. At first, you really get the impression that she was a bad woman. She's always getting irritated at Marika, always yelling or using harsh language to talk to her. The fact that she's a single mom didn't have that either. Worse, the amount of neglection she has toward Marika is insane. She's never bothered to clean the room, never pay any attention to Marika, never ask or do anything for her. Like how she's never bothers to have a dinner with her daughter and instead just throw some money at her and let her buy a meal on her own. You know this is bad, since it has been shown time and time again that a family meal holds special meaning in this manga. She would rather go out on a date with her boyfriend than attend her child's activity in school. Simply put, she spends no effort to take care of Marika, and to no one's surprise, she is what we would call a bad parent. Yet, things are not as simple as they would seem. As the story progresses, we get to know more and more about her. There are many layers to her that are not apparent at first glance. It all started when her mother wants to introduce her to the boyfriend. Seems like after seeing him for some time and knowing what his personality is like, she thinks that she should be more serious with this relationship. And the first thing she should do is to reveal Maricas to him. For the first time ever, we see her mom getting visibly nervous. Thankfully, the boyfriend seemed to take this news very well, and he even managed to get close to Marica. Through his work, we even saw some glimpses to Marica's mom that we didn't know before. Apparently, her parents divorced because her father gambling addiction. Her home got so toxic that he has to distance herself from them. She didn't want to be like her parents. Yes, she divorced her husband too, which just end up making her hate herself. Well, further into the story, you find out that her husband cheated on her. The divorce was really not her fault, and that sucks even more. With no one to teach her how to raise a kid, no role model for building a good family. She didn't even have any friends to call her out when she makes a mistake. The scene ends with Marika's mom standing away, silently watching Marika having fun talking with the guy. No one knows what she's thinking in her head right now, but it seems like her effort of being serious with this relationship had actually paid off. And now, I know some of you would still not be fine with Marika's mom. Like, she's abused Marika so much. No amount of trauma or hardship can justify her behavior. It doesn't matter what she's gone through. Parents must take care of their child. I mean, I completely agree with that. Still, what happened next will seriously put that into question. It was around Christmas time. They was ready to go to an amusement park. It will be the first time the three of them going out together, marking a new beginning to their relationship. Surrounding them were all the happy families, which really make America's mom think. In a moment of silence, America's mom actually gave a sincere apology to her. This was one of the rare times when she was being authentic and vulnerable to America. In any case, that guy is pretty late. The phone's ringing, a message delivered. America's mom instantly frowned. Well, we all know what happened. The guy has ditched them. Upon this realization, America's mom just said, "Let's go home." There's no discernible reaction from her. Normally, she would instantly flip out into rage. Yet, she was gently quiet this time. But then Marika gets close and realized she's crying silently. It must have hurt her so much. It was her first time open up to someone after her divorce, being serious about a relationship for once. Now, it was all for nothing. Okay, that is cruel. She was just about to become a better mom and all, yet it was over before anything could happen. That's the shame, honestly. But wait, there's more. As they were about to go home, America's mom spotted a familiar silhouette. It was that guy with his family. So that's where he is. That's why he couldn't go with them to the amusement park. That's what he'd been trying to tell her the day before. He even had the guts to act like a happy family despite all of this. He even tried to be a good father buying the new game for his son. This asshole. When she confronted him, all he could do was groveling on the ground, begging her not to tell his family. Yeah, I want nothing to do with this guy anymore. Interestingly enough, even when he's by far the scummiest character in this story, he still wants to take care of his son, which goes to show how consistent this manga is. It also brings nuance to his character, like he's bad, but not all bad. There's still good things inside of him, though I don't think it will change the fact that he's absolutely an asshole, really. Unsurprisingly, Marika's mom explodes. She destroys the furniture, cursing everything, but rage can't last long, and once she exhausts, what remains is only sadness and pain. One thing to note is that she listened to him and didn't reveal to his family right then and there. It's fascinating to see that though she hates him so much. She let him go just this day for his son and his family. Really makes you think. When Take feels bad for her mom and makes an omelette to console her, it didn't go well at first, with her mom chasing her out. Still, after calming down, she sat in and took a bite. After that, she ate the whole thing and cleaned it up. It showed a clear theme in this series that a family meal can help heal the wound. By this time, we can see that even though Marika's mom was a bad mother, she always just barely missed out on choosing the worst options ever. Like when she going out with that guy and neglecting Marika. She actually tried to fix that later by introducing her kids to him. Or when she chose not to blow up everything is one of this guy's family. Or when she eventually accepts Take omelette after dismissing it at first. This is important to keep in mind. Well, things have to hit rock bottom before they can get better. So in a twist of tone, Marika's mom accidentally saw Marika going out with her old family. Uh-oh. After this shocking revelation, she went on to question her daughter, only to be stopped by Keisuke. The situation almost gone bad if not for his daughter to put out and get him to leave. Both sides go home with turmoil inside their heart. Upon hearing the rumors surrounding Marika's mom, Keisuke couldn't help but utter these words. To think that there be a parent who wouldn't treasure their own kid. I can't believe such thing is possible. With that in mind, Keisuke could only come to a solution to gain Marika's custody from her mother and get her out of that house. Back in Marika's house, what just happened deeply troubled her mom, resulted in her loudly questioning Marika, but she didn't say a thing. Unable to get anything from her, Marika moms resort to the last worst option ever. Her hands raised high, she asking the final question before bringing it down. Now, this is obviously domestic abuse, and once she's done that, there's no going back from here. However, before her angry mother, Marika didn't say a thing. There's not even fear in her eyes, just sadness. Well, it's sad that they have come to this. It puzzled her mom, and in the last moment, she put her hands down and promptly left the room with uncertainty. You are really my daughter, right? Which Marika can only lie. Yes, the first answer she gave her mom after all of this. Phew, this is intense AF, but thankfully, Marika's mom avoided yet another pitfall again, showing that she wasn't too far gone. Now, Kisuke and Marika's mom finally confronted each other, and this will not end well. In short, Kisuke condemned Marika's mom for all the bad things she did toward Marika, in which she has nothing to object to. Well, it really did happen. She was being a bad mother after all. The meeting ended with Keisuke's ultimatum. Your daughter was happier with us than with you, which hurt her deeply. This is huge. Keisuke completely went for the attack and Marika's mom wasn't being able to say anything. However, for someone as aggressive as her, why wasn't she able to say a thing? Well, I think deep down inside, She knew that he's not wrong. She was a bad mother. And now we have to go back to her childhood, where it all began. Chica used to be a poor kid with an innocent look in her eyes. After overhearing a conversation from other kids, she came up with a plan on herself. Maybe, just maybe, if she was a good kid, her parents will praise her and take her to the amusement park. Unfortunately, reality is often cruel. Her father was a gambling addict, and her mother was no better. Once he came home and couldn't find her either, instead of praising Chica for what she did, she started lashing out onto her, essentially denying all her effort. She just wants to receive love from her parents, or should I say, every child craves love from their parents. Yet, growing up, she has none of that. She had a tough childhood and it was hard to read. Yet now, upon realization, she aware that the way she treated Marika was no different than the way her parents treat her, and that hurt even more. The thing that the guy said ages ago was right. She had come to hate herself just as much as how she hated her parents. Well, it is the end. We solved the problem. She knew that she was a bad mother. Then what's left to do is just to hand the America to the Nijima's family, right? Well, we haven't talked about one person who should be the most important in this story, Marika herself, specifically the kid that Take resigned in. Since Take took over, she has no memories of Marika before. She didn't know what had happened between Marika and her mom or how she thinks of her. That is, until she stumbled upon something that revealed Marika's true feeling. Surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, it is this. It is the last missing puzzle to the story. By now, you should know about the answer. It's not that we should take away Marika from her mom, but we should let her be a proper mom for once and take care of Marika. One of the things I said about before cumulative to this, every child craves love from their parents, and parents must take care of their child. It also answers why Marika's mother was so obsessed with going to the amusement park. To her, this symbolized a happy family, which she wants more than anything in this world. It is to her like what a family meal means to the Nijima. With it in mind, Take has to face up with Keisuke, and Keisuke was still going on about how she's a terrible mother. It's not wrong per se, but it's missing half of the picture. That's why she needs to tell him it can't be like that. Even though Keisuke came up as self-righteous, it's also coupled with his selfish desire to live with his late wife again. Motivated by that, he forgot to take into account what Marika's mom wants, and most of all, Marika's wish herself. Even if that's the obvious answer for Nijima Take, as Shirashi Marika, that's the wrong thing to do. She loudly announced it to Keisuke before collapsing down to being sick. When Keisuke carried her back home, he met her mom, and in that instant, She rushed forward to her daughter, surprising her. Someone like her could make a face like that. Well, after all, she's still her mom. After seeing how she took care of America, Isuke finally understand he was wrong for imposing his selfish design on them, and thus he apologized and went home. One of the days, they make up their mind and decided to tell her mom everything. She deserves to know everything at last. It didn't go well at first, but no matter how much she tried to deny, she couldn't shake the feeling that it was true. Well, she's already had doubts before, though. There are many times when her daughter acts like a different person. Still, supposedly that is true. What would she want to do now? They sincerely asked her. And in a moment of vulnerability, she revealed to them her deepest wish. She wants to live together with Marika. She wants another chance. Well, that's all he needs to hear. After getting up, he delivered a final warning to her before going home. He will come back and take Marika away from her if she didn't keep her promise and treat her right. And just like that, it comes to an end. Ah, what a crazy event. But everyone finally gets what they need. Marika and her mom finally reconcile with each other. The Nijima family can finally reunite with each other without the fear of her mom finding out. Everyone gets their happy ending with a wholesome wave at the end to signal a new beginning. Phew, what a wholesome ending. Feels good, man. Hmm? Wait a minute. How many chapters this manga has? By the way, oh, oh, I don't feel so good about this. Well, that is the end of part 2 of my series of videos. Man, there are so many more things I want to talk about regarding this theme. It could be the side characters who also embody this theme, or Marika's mother redemption arc. But I think this video is enough to show you what this manga is trying to say. The rest of it, you just have to read it yourself. This video is already long enough as it is. I already spent so much time making this. Haha. If you're interested, you can check out part 3, where I talk about the theme of loss and grief in this manga. Please comment down below what you think about the series or about my video. I'm looking forward to reading it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time. Also, remember to like and subscribe. Goodbye.